What's up everyone and welcome back to our Above Snakes devlog series. We are working on a survival game in which you can create your own world from isometric world pieces, and we have some exciting new features and biomes to share with you today. For the first time ever, we are able to give you a sneak peek of our final biome of the game, a wild western town called Corpse Creek, that you will discover towards the end of the game. As you might have seen in our announcement in December, we transitioned from alpha to beta, and therefore allowed everyone who backed the game on Kickstarter for alpha or beta access to play. Beta feedback is extremely important to us, since that tells us a lot about the state of the game and how much there is still to do until release. Luckily, the feedback is pretty good so far, and we are happy to announce that we are on track to finish the game. If you take a look at our Steam page, you will discover that we already updated the release date information. I will link the Above Snakes Steam page in the description box below. But now, let's talk about exciting new features. First up, we added horse riding to the game. What kind of western game would Above Snakes be if there were no horses? You can now find hitching posts with horses in certain places throughout the world that you can use for fast travel. There is, for instance, one at the trading post, the Birch Forest Tribe Village, and also, of course, in Corpse Creek. Using a horse costs carrots, but it's a great way to get around quickly. Carrots can be found in the wild and also cultivated in your own garden plots. On top of this, you can also build your own hitching post at your base and have your very own horse. Next, we made some big improvements to the cooking system. We have revamped the system so that you now need to discover recipes before you can cook them. Discovery works by throwing ingredients together. The game will tell you once there's something new to discover. After you cook the meal, the recipe is discovered. Once you discover the recipe, it will be stored in your recipe book. That is a new item that we added to the game that you can craft and which will contain all of the recipes you've discovered so far. You also can get a glimpse of what other recipes there might be. And for those of you who like to collect things, there are new books that you can find or buy that teach you the recipes for certain items. Of course, you can still throw every ingredient together, even though if they won't result in any recipe. For those, the sprites are now color-coded and icon-coded, depending on the stats they provide, which makes it a lot easier to identify them on your hotbar. And we also made it so that items that don't make any sense to be cooked together will result in inedible meals. If you throw, for instance, a couple of bones in a bowl, you can't expect them to be an edible meal. Before we move on to our final biome, Corpse Creek, did you already give this video a thumbs up? If you like what we are doing, this is a great way to tell us, and it also helps grow the channel. Also, if you're interested in more indie game dev content, such as the whole story of our 2-year journey and how Above Snakes was created, make sure to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. Thank you. Now, let's talk about Corpse Creek, the jewel of the West and the pinnacle of Above Snakes. Corpse Creek is where the plague first started and where the plot really comes together. It is partly a ghost town now, as many of those who survived fled from there. We don't want to give away too much just yet, so we are just showing a small portion of the biome today. Corpse Creek is a massive wild western city where some of the buildings are abandoned and others are destroyed, while some are still intact and the inhabitants are still there. The environment is very eerie and atmospheric, and it is for sure a unique experience for players. We are putting a lot of effort into making this biome feel special. We are adding a lot of detail, like dust blowing in the wind, and we are making sure that the lighting is just right to create the perfect eerie atmosphere. We're also adding a lot of interesting characters who have their own stories and will add a lot of depth to the game, such as Bert the bartender, who you might already know from our community Discord server. You'll encounter survivors who have managed to eke out a living in this harsh environment, as well as the ghosts of those who didn't make it. But as said, we are not showing too much of the endgame content of Above Snakes in these videos, because we want players to experience that themselves. Okay, new topic, save games. Maybe you are one of our beta backers and you already played the game a lot, but now you decided to start over and start a new journey. Well, we have good news for you. No more need to delete your save game. We've added the ability to have multiple save games. You can now have up to 3 save games in parallel, and your story progress is shown with each save game. Lastly, we've made some big performance improvements to the game. We've reduced the initial load time when starting up the game from about 30 seconds to just a couple of seconds. So you don't have to worry about the black screen of death anymore. Beta testers will know what I mean. We post a comparison video of the performances of the old version and the new version on our Discord server, and I will put the link in the description below. We've also made some big improvements with the memory management of the game, which means that the game will run with a lot less of your RAM. If you are an alpha or beta tester and you tried to run the game on your machine but it didn't work, this is a good time to try again and let us know. I hope that you are as excited about these updates as we are. And I can already tell you that for the next few weeks we have some big announcements planned. So please make sure to subscribe to the channel to not miss them. As always, we are interested in your feedback. Let us know in the comments below what you think of Corpse Creek, the horse riding system and the new cooking. And if you want to know how we designed our enemies, I can highly recommend to check out this devlog here, and see you there.